Welcome back in. Let's get to know the Hokies because it is going to be year 5 for head coach Mike Young. Since he's gotten to Blacksburg, the Hokies have finished 500 or better, including 2 trips to the NCAA tournament. They're going to continue their shooting their shot next year as well because they were second in the ACC in field goal percentage last season, shooting just under 47%. Got a couple of shooters who make that happen. You're going to hear from them in a second. One of them they're definitely going to lean on is Sean Padula. He had the second biggest jump in points per game over the last 2 seasons in the ACC, going from 5.4 points per game to 15 points per game last season. He was lighting it up. He's on set with us now. So was his running mate, Hunter Couture, who can shoot a 3 from just about anywhere and impress everybody, guys. Always good to see you and be with you. Mention some of the things that you guys have been able to do under the 4 seasons so far with Coach Mike Young, and I know you're always hungry for more. So, Sean, you first. What's the mindset of this team after last season not quite getting to where you wanted to be?
Yeah, I think just focusing on what we didn't do and what we didn't accomplish last year, which was get to the ACC tournament in the 2nd round, 3rd round, and then also get back to March Madness. And then once we look at what we didn't do, we kind of focus on where we can improve, which is the defensive end of the floor, and just kind of get better on that end day in, day out in practice.
Hunter, what's it like when you've had a taste of both worlds and now you want that other taste back?
Yeah, it's tough, especially last year. Coming off the ACC championship, and there was high hopes for another good year, and we kind of didn't really have the year we wanted. But I think it's good to go through that adversity sometimes. It humbles you, makes you kind of get knocked down, and you learn from it. And I think we have a bunch of hungry guys this year that we're eager to prove ourselves again.
You guys say you want to improve defensively. What is that going to look like? Like, you know, it's one thing. All right, we got to be tougher defensively, but what does that look like, and what are the points of emphasis in practice each and every day to get you to that point?
I think the biggest thing is kind of being the aggressors on defense. You know, we run a pack line kind of style of defense, and sometimes you can kind of get laid back. So I think the biggest thing is kind of just being the aggressors, getting into the ball pressure, things like that, making it uncomfortable for ball handlers. I think that'll be really helpful kind of in the way we want to play.
Yeah, just to pick out what Hunter said, I think taking the aggression to them as far as like ball pressure, and getting into the person who's on offense. I think last year we kind of sat back and let them just be a little too comfortable. And that started with me. So that's something I'm definitely trying to work on this offseason.
Going on the other side of the ball, offensively, you lose 2 really good pieces from last year, Grant Basile and Justin Mutz, who could do a little of everything, and they were very unique in what they could do. Justin Mutz being able to facilitate, Grant Basile being able to step out on the perimeter. What's the emphasis on offense this year, and where do those points, outside of you guys, where would those points come from, especially when you look at the front court?
Well, it's going to be hard to replace Justin and Grant. Justin's obviously a great passer, and Grant could obviously light it up. So it's going to be hard to replace those guys no matter what. But we got 2 experienced guys coming in with Mekhi Long and Robbie Barron, who are also 2 fifth-year guys who know how to win and know how to score the ball. And they both offer 2 different things. Mekhi can rebound like crazy. He can attack the paint, and then Robbie can really shoot it. And he's an older guy who can vocalize what needs to be done, both offensively and defensively. But that's not saying anything that is negative about Justin or Grant. They're both 2 great guys, but we're definitely going to have guys that are going to step into those roles who are capable.
Let's talk a little bit about the offseason. And listen, first of all, congrats to you, Hunter, because I don't know if you can have a better offseason than getting engaged last year.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but also, I mean, for a lot of the guys, a highlight of the offseason is getting to go to Europe. And you guys went all over the place. Hunter, what was that trip like, just from also, you know, a team building, but also getting to play together in the offseason and have that experience?
Yeah, it's huge getting those 10 extra practices. Kind of back in Blacksburg to get prepared for the trip, and it was my first time going to Europe, so it was a cool experience for me, kind of seeing different scenery and different cultures and stuff like that. So Switzerland was cool. We went to Italy for a little bit, got to play 2 games. So I think it's just cool kind of being able to spend time with the guys off the court and kind of in a different country and experiencing new things together for the first time. So I think it really kind of builds the team chemistry.
Sean, had you been before to Europe?
I had been to Europe when I was really little. My sister studied out there, and we went to visit her, but I was like 10 years old. So
okay, different experience with the team, I'm sure.
Experience. Yeah.
Thinking about your team again, like last year, the big jump you made, Sean, was impressive. How do you find that balance? I used to tell my guards, they have to be selectively aggressive. How do you find that balance between being aggressive, because that's what makes you so special, but also being inclusive in terms of making the game easier for other guys. How do you go about that coming into this season?
That's definitely the hardest part that I've had to work on in my game, like figuring out when I can be aggressive and when I can put that threat on the defensive side of the ball for other teams. But then also realizing I'm playing the point guard position, I gotta be the guy who's getting all my teammates involved. So as far as just trusting my coaches and figuring out what they want from me, and that defined role. Also, like circumstances in the game, what the game needs. So that's just something that I've really hit home this last offseason and kind of wanted to improve upon the most. And I think last year was the best learning tool I could have had as far as like my first year getting real minutes, real time at that point guard position. So I'm just hoping I can take it and improve that going into next season.
You learned a little bit from that guy to your right. He was pretty good at it.
I appreciate that, Coach. Hunter, your last season, what are you expecting this year?
He's not getting a 6th year?
It's surprising. But what are you expecting this year? I mean, defensively, you're really good. Offensively, Kelsey said that you can shoot from anywhere on the court. But what does the next step in your game look like for this year?
Yeah, definitely have the reputation of being a shooter. And so you kind of have to think the next step after that, what happens when that's taken away. And so I've really focused that on that in the offseason, kind of like using my shot fake, using the dribble, kind of playmaking for myself and for others. I think that's just been the biggest thing for me is kind of being that 2 or 3 level threat where even if you take away the 3-point shot, like I can still be effective on the offensive end. And then defensively, kind of just staying locked in, helping other guys off the ball and on the ball. We talked about being the aggressors. So really just kind of setting the tone every game from the tip-off that we're going to come and we're going to play defense this game.
Right. Coach's offense. The dude's a savant now. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got more tricky plays than it's ridiculous. And they all get the little nicknames. How long does it take to understand it? Because there are a lot of actions that you guys play out of. But how's the transition like? For those new guys coming from another program, how long does it take them to get up to speed to the intricacies, let's say, of not just running the offense, playing out of the offense?
Yeah, it's tough, especially when you have transfers that have been like Robbie and Makai that come from different schools that they've learned different things there. So when you come here, it's different terminology and things like that. The biggest thing you can get is just from reps. A lot of reps and practice. You could talk about it all the time, but until you're in those situations and see how things are kind of run, but it's been good. We've had our hiccups where it's been tough, but you learn from it, and they've gone a lot better, especially the whole team. Just our motion style, where to screen, where to cut, and things like that. So it's been really good, and I think we've really improved on that.
You guys looking towards this season, we're just 2 weeks away from November 6th, and I know it starts there, but it's a long season. What do you need to do, Sean, to have success this season? Virginia Tech can be good this season if what happens?
I just need to play my game and trust that my teammates are going to do their job and trust that they know how to know I'm going to do my job, and then that everyone's going to do their role. I think trust is the biggest thing. Trusting one another and letting each other show their talents and show your role out on the court, I think it'll take us to a great place.
And then, Hunter, for you, we mentioned your last year, unless we can find another one somewhere else. I'm sure Coach Young would like that. I know your approach has always been the same. You're such a hard worker. You're studying so much. But is it different for you? Does it feel different knowing this is it?
Yeah, it is. Last year, you kind of go into it thinking this could be my last year with still the hope, but at the end of the day, this is my last ride. So you kind of want to just take that moment in. People ask me what are my goals this year. I just want to win. At the end of the day, it's my 5th year. I want to make a run for the ACC championship. I want to make a run in the NCAA tournament. And the individual goals will come from that. As long as your team is winning, the individual success comes along with that.
This guy's like a soccer player, dude, because he'll go down and fall a couple times now. I mean, like you think the guy's dead, and all of a sudden he comes up, he goes, let's go, and all of a sudden he's knocking down a jumper at the end of the game.
He battles through it all. He battles through it all. Guys, we can't wait to see it. November 6th, Coppin State is the beginning, and best of luck this season throughout the year.